Welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast.
I took the blows and did it my way.
It's time. The Vinny Rock Podcast.
What's up, y'all? You're on the Vinny Rock Podcast. Before I get on with my boy, Phil Garcia, and you guys are going to be blown away when you get to know who this guy is. And the world needs to know who this motherfucker is. I'm going to say straight up. But before then, and hopefully I'm help catapult that shit. But we'll talk about our sponsors. We got Core Medical Group. Testosterone replacement therapy shipped directly to your home. A lot of men of 25 and above, go get your blood work done. And I promise you, your testosterone is probably low. I believe it's probably our diet. I believe it's probably our fast food and everything else in the world. Whatever it is, men are having low T younger. And it is a fucking mind-blowing. But when you get your testosterone levels checked and you get them regular, you will feel good again. And your lady will thank me, I promise. So Core Medical Group, go hit them up. It's a testosterone replacement therapy company that will ship it directly to your house with telemedicine, baby. So go check them out. Live Bearded, promo code Rocco. Look at this beard. It is alive, baby. This thing got my wife pregnant again. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like it should. Promo code Rocco, 10% off. You guys go check it out. Willie Pete's Chocolate, veteran-owned company. This dude does it all by himself. He grows hot chili peppers and he puts them into his chocolates. There's things called the Moab, which is like 2 million Scoville units. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. You guys will love it. If you like spice and you like chocolate, go check out williepeteschocolates.com. Bouillon Box. Excuse me, that donut made me burp, but Bullion Box is a subscription-based service for you to get precious metals, silver, and gold. You can hit them up for the $200, $300, $400 subscription. They will ship it directly to your house with a value of precious metal. And right now, if you guys don't know, the market is booming for silver and gold. Go check it out, bullionbox.com. You got Barry Law. It is a veteran-owned law firm that focuses on getting veterans the disabilities they deserve. Go hit them up. If you guys have problems, if you guys are struggling to get the disability rating that you deserve, go hit up Barry Law at ptsdlawyers.com. You can hit /Rocco to hear my story. Go hit them up. I want to give them a plug. They really are genuine fucking people trying to help you get the disability ratings you deserve. Modern Gun School is a distance learning gun school that will help you become an armorer. They will take your VA benefits. They will also take Voc Rehab benefits, and you can get all the supplies shipped to your home for distance learning in the comfort of your own house. You can learn how to build rifles and fix them and clean them. Go check them out at www.mgs.edu. Last but not least, my organizations, you got veteran.com. We're giving away a truck to some lucky person in the efforts of raising enough money to build transition centers for veterans who struggle with transitioning all over the world. We are doing big things one step at a time, and it's all about giving back to the community, providing value. And Strength Cartel, because I got a shirt on, I'm just going to give him a shout out because I love the homie. But here we are. Bro, Phil, so this is the first time we've actually spoke directly, right?
I know. Isn't this weird? This is so strange because, we keep up with online, it's weird because I feel like I know you already, but we've technically never.
This is how we've talked to each other, dude. So I want to give everyone who's listening and watching, this is going on YouTube now too, as well. That's what I started doing this platform. But so the first time I saw you and I'm like, bro, I recognize this cat. He's done some stuff, right? He's done some acting here and there. So I recognized your face. And I couldn't pinpoint where it was. I still can't. But I remember seeing you around thinking, okay, I recognize that actor. You're sitting across the table and diagonal from me. And it's the scene in Mayans where we find out that you're lying. You get caught. Straight up red-handed, bro. And
I'm the rat, bro.
You're the rat, dude. And I'm watching you. And I was like, oh, fuck. This dude is in a different world. Bro, it was such a powerful performance. And this is the first time I'm telling you this right now. I want to tell you that. It was so powerful, bro. It stuck with me, dog. Like I went home and Googled you. I found your Instagram. I followed you immediately. And I was like, this motherfucker's fucking dope. And as an actor to actor, like, dude, I see this shit all day long, right? And there's these moments that are powerful. And I think you remind me a lot of Richard Cabral, right? And Rich Cabral, I mean, that you in the same sense as him, that's powerful. He's a fucking talented motherfucker, bro. And I've done scenes with this dude that just blow me away, but that scene, it wasn't directed at me, but man, I felt it. I felt it in my heart, was like, this motherfucker's next level. And so I am excited for whatever you do in the future, just to follow your growth as an actor and waiting for that one opportunity that the world's going to get to see that. Because that moment, bro, people they didn't appreciate it as much as I did, I don't think. And I was like, fuck. And then they killed you, bro. And you're fucking, you're tweaking. I was like, oh shit. I got like, because I really was impressed, I was like, man, I wish we gave him another season, because I just genuinely think that you did really well. That moment was so powerful for me, and it was just incredible. I'm curious, what did you feel during that whole scene? Like, what was that about for you?
Well, I'll tell you, the Mayans Journey was a long one. I initially went in for I'm not sure they changed all the names around initially when they were auditioning for series regulars. And Wendy O'Brien, such an angel on this earth, casting director for Mayans. Shout out to her. She's by far one of my favorite casting directors in LA. She, over the years, she's brought me in for multiple projects, but this one was the one I got pretty far.
She changed my life, dude. She changed my life. So yes, she has this energy about her that you want to do well in the room, and auditioning is such a weird fucking thing. Like, it's such an odd thing. Like, we can get into that, but Wendy brought me in for, I actually got to read with Raymond Cruz at the time. I went in and I read with Raymond Cruz. I might have been thought of for the role of Coco. I'm not sure. They changed all the names around, but I can see it.
Yeah, dude. I remember being in the audition with Raymond Cruz, and Raymond Cruz is like literally
legend in the game,
rolling tears in a scene, and I have to like console him in a scene, and I'm like, it's okay, brother, or whatever. And I was mind blown just at that, right? So it just to get that far and to not get it, and then to be brought in over the years for different roles here and there. I'd never gotten anything, and this one, I think I was the first person to go in for this particular first call audition, and I just remember thinking prior to going in, like, I want this. I want this really bad. It's a co-star. Technically, it was a co-star, but
yeah,
for actors that start off in the game, co-stars are the the roles that you take initially, and then as you move along, you start to step up to a recurring co-star. Then it goes guest star. Then it goes recurring guest star. Then series regular, right? So technically, I had done a couple recurring roles prior to this, but I said, my agency was like, probably shouldn't do any more co-stars. I was like, no, I want to be on Mayans. Like, that was the most important thing to me.
You want to have had the experience of wearing that cut, right?
Yes, I've watched all of the shows prior to this, all of the episodes of Mayans prior to this season, or to the second season rather, and needless to say, I was a fan. I was a huge fan of the show, of Kurt, of Elgin. So just an honor, truly, to be able to sit at that table, even as a rat. Somebody's got to do it. I was down to do it.
It's all part of the mythology, right?
I thank you for saying that. That means a lot, because you as a day player, you go on and you do a bunch of these, and sometimes you get to talk to the people and sometimes you don't. And that's fine, but there's a piece of it that you miss, the connection that you miss sometimes, because everybody's like fucking tunnel vision on set. And for people who are listening to this that are not actors, that are just interested in the entertainment industry, there is so much going on that you cannot really hone in on what is all the levels that are happening. And that's so funny that was your experience, because I was like, that's weird, because you try and jump into the skin as much as possible, but in that moment I was just like kind of shaking inside. I was so nervous, like being around everybody, and I mean, You got
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's a strange kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
you're coming into
kind of
almost
tap in.
Yeah, you're almost coming into the foreign territory of a community that's already been built around it, right? Like you are the strange object in the room, and we've all built family friends between us already. So it's like showing up to a new team and trying to it's like the new kid in class. Hey guys, and you're like,
Yes.
we don't have time right now to associate with you because we're all focusing on our shit. So there's a distance there that can be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And we don't have the time to bring you in and say, bro, what's up?
But that's okay, and that's so funny because that is my life in a nutshell. My life, it has been, I just had a conversation with a homie about this. He was saying, you got to find your niche. You got to find what you do. Like, for instance, Matt Damon is the elite. He's the guy that is the brilliant guy that he started that for himself, right? He created his niche, is like what he does. He's like Bourne. What is it? Matthew Bourne. Like
Jason Bourne.
Oh shit, Matthew Bourne is
his brother.
A ballet guy. Wow. Okay. Classic. Wow, theater kid. So you kind of find your niche in the world, and you kind of have to find your way. How do we get into talking about this shit? I was gonna add a point, but
is your character, you showed up in this group that we were already established, and you're like the stranger in the room.
Right. So it's kind of interesting. That's my life in a nutshell. It's like I wasn't always picked first. You know what I mean? I was always the kind of I wasn't the leader. I was kind of a nerd. And so when people, I was just talking to a friend. Basically, I wasn't the first person that was picked on the basketball team.
Yeah.
But once I was picked, I was like tooth and nail. Like I would fight and make sure that my team won. So when bringing it back to Mayans, if I'm sitting at the table and if I'm nervous inside, that's part of being an actor, is what I'm trying to say, is that you deal with that uncomfortability because I'm afraid, I'm it's like kind of, you're nervous inside, but somewhere down the line you kind of learn to encapsulate that a little and like create a little Dragon Ball Z. What you create like a little ball like this, and then like you fucking you like throw
you
it
use
and
you take you ball that energy and you use it towards your character.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in a way, all of the energy that I was feeling from everybody else, and I felt it. And thank you for sharing that story with me. It means a lot. As an actor, as an artist, from another human being, I think, period. I think that means so much. So thank you for saying that. But you kind of take that energy and you kind of make it what you make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was intense. It was a really intense scene. And it's kind of technical. A lot of people don't understand that it was kind of technical. I technically only had like 2 lines or whatever. When you guys watch it back, like I have to pull out the gun in such a way. Wait, were you across the table from me?
Yes, motherfucker. I was right across from you. I was watching you and I'm thinking, this motherfucker's shady.
Oh yeah, it was fucking weird. It was such a weird scene because I knew it was about to happen. But I had to pull out the gun in such a way that homeboy behind me had to put the gun, and he whacked my ear one time, and my ear was ringing. I didn't want to tell anybody, but like the gun was a real gun, and he literally pistol whipped my ass on the ear. I thought I was fucking bleeding. I thought I was bleeding. God, we're gonna get in trouble. SAG is gonna come. No.
No one listens to this. My mom's the only one who listens to this podcast, so we're fine.
That's funny. And my mom will be the only one also that watches this. Okay,
we'll have 2 viewers, so we're good.
Classic. Okay, cool. I had such a blast on that show and watching some of the greats do it. I mean, I Edward James Olmos. I got to meet him for the first time. It's literally a night shoot, and as I finished getting strung up and killed, he's just now walking on set. I'm leaving, I'm wrapped, and so he's walking past me, and I'm like, oh my god, this is my chance. I get to introduce myself to Edward James Olmos. He's a legend in the Latin community. Like I grew up watching,
Mm-hmm.
And so I come up to him, I'm like, oh my god, sir, it's so good to meet you. I shake his hand like this, and he's like, oh, bless you. And I did, like, literally my heart stopped there for a second, and I was like, thank you. And that's it. That was, I don't even think, honestly, I don't even think he knew who I was. I thought maybe he thought I was a like a gaffer or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think he still knows who I am, bro. You know what I mean? It's like,
Nice.
and for no other reason, I don't go up to him because I don't want to bother him. Right. You know what I mean? And at the same time, like, we've never done a scene together. So it's very easy for him to really not know who I am. You know what I mean? So I just kind of stay in my lane, bro. I focus on my little world. No, I respect all these dudes, you know, and you know, what brings me to kind of the idea of there's going to be a youngster, you know, that watches you and one day will say you are his inspiration. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that hit me up and say, how do I get into acting? And it's one of these hard things to answer. I've found it's like, yo, we're all still hustling this grind, right? And at the same time, you can't just say, hey, get me an audition. You have to show me you fucking are making efforts towards the craft of acting, right? Like the theater aspect and the craft of acting is something that is so important to someone like you and someone like me. It's not just about the fame. Like the fame is actually, to me, I've told my wife, like, it's an inconvenience to get stopped in eating a burger. You know, I want to just eat my burger, but I also appreciate the what follows of being on the Mayans is people wanting to autograph or a picture. Like, cool. But none of that motivates me for acting. What motivates me is the challenge of portraying a whole different character. Like, it is fun, but I want to make it honest in every job I take, you know? And so I think there's sometimes, do you get the youth hitting you up and like, probably what would be your, you know, words of wisdom for some people wanting to get, because there's a lot of veterans who listen to this and a lot of them want to get into acting, and I try and help them all, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'd love to get some insight from someone like you. What is the answer for them, or what are some things you can give them?
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's not for everyone. This industry isn't for everyone. And I think ultimately it's about sustainability. I think it's, a lot of people quit, you know, a lot of people they move to LA or New York City or even Atlanta now. They move there and they think, okay, let me do the basics. Let me get my headshots. Let me, start submitting myself to different projects, non-union. I started doing that. Let me work background. Those are the first things that I did. Headshots, student films, background. I think that's the main start for everyone. But then nothing happens for a year. No auditions. You submit to agencies and agents and managers. If you are, managers are even now acting as agents. That's interesting now. That's changed a bit, but in the industry. But when nothing happens, people quit, and they think, oh, well, you know, didn't happen in a week. I've been doing this like 24 hours a day. Like I've been submitting myself, nothing happened, and people wonder why. And that's I think it's all about sustainability. You have to. It's a mental thing. It's a mental fuck being in this industry. Is that you have to just it's a marathon. You know, it's I've been doing this now. God, I think my first play was in the third grade. You know, I did plays in the third grade, and I've been doing plays throughout high school. And I went to a college that was a theater college, and I didn't really start professionally auditioning until after college. So it's tough. I mean, it's a tough career. But if I would say, for someone who hasn't had the journey like me, maybe it hasn't been in plays or musicals, but is interested in getting involved, because I will say you can, and it's never too late to get started. But the sooner you do it, the better for you. But I think just educate yourself on people who have done it like you.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the theater realm. You know, I grew up doing theater and musicals, and I sing also. So you know, that's how I learned. I learned in community theater, and I think I hugely recommend even adults getting into community theater as well, just to kind of understand how that works. It's a bit of a different process than TV and film. But if you want to get into TV and film, I think ultimately what agents need in order to book jobs. I think you need an agent. So in order to get an agent has to see, it's like sports. They need to be able to see what you can do, right? You need to be able to offer something.
Yeah.
And that requires experience, that requires a reel. I think the most important thing that you can do is start filming shit on your own.
That's it.
I mean, you did it. I mean, I watched your short film recently. Something like that, it doesn't need to be super fancy like yours or shot on a nice camera or with good audio. Even it could have no sound, and you could be doing all the acting with your eyes. You're really just telling the story with your eyes, and I swear to God, that can book you a job.
For sure.
So put yourself on tape, like football players. They have a fucking highlight reel of all of their plays. In order to get into the NFL, they have to put. They always say that. I watch the mic'd up NFL things or whatever. They're like, put that on tape. Put that on tape. And it's true. Same thing with us actors and even musicians as well. Everyone has a reel that is basically that is your leverage. That is
your highlight reel. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're just starting out, what do you do well? A lot of people are like, oh, well, I want to play a role like the Joker. Well, write something for yourself that is in the vein of the Joker, light it, with whatever you have and use natural light, even write a monologue and film yourself with that. And that is a start. That way you can kind of see what you're capable of also.
Bro, that's huge. It's funny. We live in a time, I'll tell you, my road to being an actor is a very unorthodox one, but it's kind of the more common one now, right? Like yes. I did theater in college, right? But I didn't pursue it. I started doing YouTube, and then YouTube, I created a movie. Me and my buddies, we produced our own movie. I was like, fuck it. Mm-hmm. And it was a terrible movie, but it was what made me like, yo, I can do this. And so I started doing improv. It was you. Yeah. And then I did improv comedy, and I loved that. And then I did my short film, the black and white one that you've seen, right? Mm-hmm. And so then when the casting director, Wendy wanted my reel and stuff, I put all that together. That's what helped me book it. It's the stuff I already did. It's this improv comedy thing with Dads and Parks. It's this shitty movie I did with the highlights of me. It's my highlight reel. It's my little film I made, the black and white. That's where she saw I could do some kind of drama, right? I put in the work because I just started filming. And it's this day and age where all I had to do, these cell phones, these iPhone damn things are so good. This right here alone, without lighting and without sound, can do you justice as an actor. Yeah. Just as good as anything else, dude. And people want to make excuses. People want all this, all these reasons why they're not doing it. In the end of the day, to me, it's like, wake the fuck up and do it, man. Like, you got to do the work.
Yeah, I think, everything is that is our industry right now. Everything is at our fingertips. I mean, they're shooting live action, huge budget films with iPhones.
Crazy.
They're using the iPhone. They're using the GoPros even too.
Yeah.
But I think what is a story? How do you tell a story? Do you need a big fancy Alexa camera that's $40,000? No. Some of the best stories that I've heard and seen have happened right in front of me in person with no camera around. By my grandfather sitting in the living room and being like, Mijo, this is what happened, blah, 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 like this is how, so as a storyteller, I would encourage people who are trying to be actors is to become the student and understand why, like break it down. Like, let's go back. Like, why do we watch television and film? To be entertained. Why do we like to be entertained? Because we like to hear stories. Why do we like to hear stories? Maybe it's because when we were kids, our parents would read us stories in the or our grandparents or whatever. It's like an age-old tradition. So break it down and understand what your story is and try and share that. Every screenwriter, any screenwriting class that I took screenwriting class in college, and all they said was write what you know. People respond to who you are because no one is like you, right?
Yeah, no,
we are super unique, right?
right. We're unique. We're unique, and no one has ever walked your steps, but we're also so relatable that we all experience the same kind of traumas, right? You know what I mean? And that's the
Yes,
crazy
we're
thing. Like,
unique, but we're the same. Yes,
mhm.
exactly. I love that. Wow.
And it's the thing. Like, so my process, I've lived a very experienced life, right? A very, very colorful of every gambit you can think of. I've been a shooter as much as I've been the lover and the fighter in my life, genuinely, right? I've gone to war and then I come back, I become a medic, right? And I've had this dichotomy of my life, my whole life. It's the healer and the killer, right? It's the tough guy and the crier, right? And this thing is, there's so many different levels to this in my life that I think is what's brought acting has been almost therapeutic for me, to be able to play all these in between that I didn't get to do in my real life, as well as I'm able to pull from a lot of the experiences of love and empathy and death and pain and trauma. And so where I really fall in love with acting, because I get to play these characters that the world would probably not see me as. A lot of people see me as this big tough guy, like, wow, cool. But I played recently a film of a guy who was dying, and had a lot of emotion, and it was beautiful because people see big scary me and don't see that there's a heart. But like, bro, I watch these fucking auditions on America's Got Talent and cry. You know what I'm saying? Because I love life, right? I love seeing how things are. And so my process in acting is probably a little different than most, but I pull from a lot of my own experiences. And so, real curious of you, what do you do to keep your acting skills, say, fresh or sharp when you're in between gigs? Is there something you do, or do you just kind of always have it on hand with you?
It's interesting talking about acting process. I'm not sure I have a Stanislavski or
Yeah.
Meisner technique or I'm not sure I use that. I always used to kind of this is mean maybe, but I always used to kind of make fun of the people in college that were like super,
Yeah.
do all this. I'm more of a I feel like I'm more of an instinctual
Yeah.
kind of, I need to feel it out kind of shit, and I think before I go on set, actually today I'm going to do this. I like to run each scene like 50 times, just do it 50 times. And I literally have a counter. I just want to count 50. I just want to count how many times I do it. And then the last 10 times I'll put the camera on and I'll film myself. So the first 40 times I do it, I'm just like, as reading it, getting through the lines, just speed through the lines, just want to make sure I have the lines, and then the last time I do it, like we used to say in theater, like with feeling, or like just do it with feeling this time, and keep in mind the camera. It's like another eye essentially.
Yeah.
So then you try and like let the camera in, or not let the camera in at times. I think it's a little bit
I
more
love
technical.
that. No, but I love that. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a process, but for me, I've been on sets where I literally have a single line, and I rehearsed it a million times, and that's why I say only 50 times, because 50 times ain't that much, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, Anthony Hopkins runs his shit like 2,000 times or something, his lines. I'm like, whoa, okay, like that's intense. But he's a master. So it's interesting. So at what point does it become too much?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about, I went to go test for a big show. Kids would know this show. It's called Stranger Things. They flew me out to
Huge show, bro. Huge show.
huge. Yeah, I want a really cool experience, and I like to tell this story because it's a perfect example of working something maybe a little too hard. They flew me out to Atlanta. I went and tested. Millie Bobby Brown walks in my scenes with her, and like she's like a young Meryl Streep or something. Like she's got this different. She's like an alien. She's like an alien. That's what I would say. She walks in and she's just like, oh, hi, hello, how are you? And, like really sweet, very confident, and she's just rolling tears, dude, like in our scene, like camera's not even on her, and she's just like tossing tears. That's
she's a giver. She's a giver.
She's just a powerhouse actress. Anyway, so I go in and I'm thinking like, damn, Duffer Brothers are chilling, standing by, like walking me through the Stranger Things house, and they're like, oh, so this is blah blah blah, and I'm like ready, you know, like I'd rehearse this shit 1,000,001 times, you know, these 2 scenes that I have to do or whatever. I go in, and this just goes to show you that we are human beings, you know, like we have blood pumping through our veins constantly, and a lot of people say like, oh, how do you deal with those nerves? I'm like, you don't we're human beings. We all feel the same. We all pump the same fucking blood. I sit down after running the lines 1,000,000 times, and we go over it, and Duffer Brothers, action. Sorry, what's the line? Sorry, and I'm like, I forgot the first fucking line. Okay, this is a screen test that I'm doing, right?
Yeah, big.
And I just remember being so disappointed. I remember being so disappointed in myself that I could not wrap my head. And after that, after I got the first, it was fine, but and the acting was fine, and it didn't feel. It's never super comfortable. That's why auditioning, I feel like, is a weird thing. But I go home. I get off the plane. My agent calls me and he's like, "Hey, you know what?" Thank God they told me right away that I didn't get it. But I remember just being I kind of was crushed by it, because such a huge opportunity, obviously. But I like literally fell to my knees. I'll never forget that. I like just on the phone. I wasn't like super crying or anything, you know, super sad, but I was just a little bummed, you know. And I just remember just chilling on the ground with my bags and like, fuck, okay. And then you go on, and I learned later that they casted a girl in my role. So
you can't be that offended. It had nothing to do with it.
It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the more feminine entity coming in and being an energy towards her character and helping her through that period of time, you know. So it had nothing to do with me, essentially. So that just goes to show you.
It's the funny thing, though, about this career, that one role could genuinely change your life, you know, and financially, to me, I think financially is a big one. Like, I would love to find that financial freedom where I'm like, oh, cool. Now I can work just because I love it. Not that I'm chasing my bills anymore, you know, and that's another side of us that, like, 2 parts. I want to make this a career because financially I would love to be able to just pay off my bills. 2, because I love the art of it, you know? And so finding something that meets both is gorgeous, and having it so close in hand and then missing it, you're like,
yeah, it's annoying. It's a bummer, but there's so many things. And that's the hard part about this industry, is that you I mean, I think I try and track my auditions. And if there's any actors out there who are watching this that want a pro tip, track each one of your auditions. I keep track of before COVID, we actually drove to auditions. You know, I would track the location. I would track the network, the casting director, everything, all of the specifics of that particular audition. And I track everything. And at the end of the year, I look at it and I'm like, okay, so I went out on 102 auditions, and I booked 2 of them. Pretty good, actually, in the grand scheme of things. Like, that 2% is or 1% is not bad, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And but that's what it looks like. But if you are one that is sensitive to being told that they're not good enough, or someone who is being, or if you're sensitive to not being chosen first on the basketball team, this may not be the career for you. I will say, you have to have a tough ass skin, and you have to be like, all right, I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't give a fuck if you cast me. I don't give a fuck if you choose me on your basketball team. I'm going to keep going no matter what, you know? So there is that level of grit that you got to have to be in this industry, because I mean, ultimately it's like 10 to 15 people choosing you to be a part of their project, because they all have to agree. So
it's not, right? And sometimes they have a visual of what they want already before you even walk in the room. You know what I mean? It's this funny thing. There's so many levels to it that it's not about just acting. It's about appearance. So many things that, I stopped stressing about the auditions and said, I'm going to give them what I would like from this. And if they don't like it, okay. And it made this whole thing less stressful, right? You sit here and be like, oh, I think they want this. Like, fuck that. This is a cool character. I'm going to play it this way. Bah! And I hit him with it, right? And you don't get it. I'm like, cool. At least I did it in the way that I wanted to, right? And I feel good about that. It helped me. It helped me in just my approach to it.
That is the trick. And you know what? I haven't always been doing that. I've maybe been doing that in the past 2 years. So good for you for figuring that out right away. And maybe that's why you book something big right away, because you don't give a fuck. And I think I've worked a lot in the commercial realm of the acting side of things. First, I took commercial acting class when I was like 8 years old. My dad drove me from San Jose. I'm from the Bay Area, San Jose to San Francisco every Sunday for Kids on Camera. It was a kids acting, commercial acting. And that was my first experience with it. And then I booked a couple things non-union when I was young and had an agent in San Francisco or whatever. And then I moved to LA, and that was where I felt pretty strong, because commercials are like little movies, like crammed into 30 seconds, so how do you tell a story in blink of an eye? So a commercial for me was the ultimate training for me in terms of, okay, here's the camera, here's what we need to see your eyes, and go, and action, like a bite into the hamburger, like there's that little level of like of intensity, because these commercials, man, they spend and people don't realize how much money they spend on these commercials.
Oh,
millions.
bro. Millions.
Especially these Super Bowl commercials, man, that they spend close to $2 million on
15 seconds.
On 30 seconds. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? So I think that's where you kind of understand, or I think I was trying to say, like, as soon as I started walking into auditions where I was like, okay, well, like, whatever, like, I'm here, you're here, cool, what do you need? Like, okay, cool. And you're just pleasant and you're happy to be there. You're easy to work with.
Yeah.
I think casting and I think producers respond to somebody who is just there, and we're gonna, it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah,
it's all good. And I have some ideas. I'll bring some ideas to the table, and that's my job as the actor, to just bring in some ideas, and whatever's in the script, we can kind of go with that, but we can kind of go off of that a little bit too. I think it's kind of interesting here if maybe my guy is, blah 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 blah, like I think you can go on forever, but to not be married exactly to what, and I mean, there are special cases. If it's Aaron Sorkin's script, then you don't want to fuck with Aaron Sorkin's script. You know what I'm saying? Like you say it how Aaron Sorkin wrote it. Okay. But other than that, I think we are allowed to bring some ideas, and a lot of people are too scared, too afraid to make that choice. You walk in the room and you're a fucking robot. Like, that's not what they want. They want somebody who's confident in themselves, even if your heart is beating, even if your heart is beating really fast. Like, fake it, bro. Like, turn that shit on. Like, you're good. Like I'm good. Let's go,
dude. So I'm gonna tell you, besides acting, you blew me away the other day with your song.
Oh man, thank you.
The song you did was incredible, and I almost didn't even want to show my wife, because she's like, babe, you didn't sing me a song. I was like, this motherfucker.
You inspired me. You sent me your shit, and I'm like, damn, okay, so like let me go do something in this hallway over here.
It was great. And you sounded freaking incredible. Any of you guys who are listening, go over to his Instagram. He has it on there. It was his Valentine's Day gift to his wife, who the first time he hasn't been with her in 3 years. And you guys have a really cool relationship. I've been following that, and I know what that's like, man. I've missed a lot of things in my life, and it sucks. And I guess, me being in California, every time I come to California to film, I come back home with something. And I say something as in the first season of Mayans, I wrote a book. The second season, I started doing music. And then third, like writing a script. This season, I'm in college full time. So I'm doing things like, let me come home and show you I didn't waste time. I showed up and worked, and then times I was off, I gave some value to the family, you know? And so I love that you did that song. I thought it was beautiful. It's not easy to do, and you sounded fucking incredible, dude.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. That means a lot. I mean, I've always been interested in songwriting. I've been interested in singing. I have a music duo. We've been working for years, and I think the music industry is kind of a weird, like really sketch thing. The music industry is kind of more plastic than the acting side of things. I think it's more plastic.
Well, here's the deal: the people that we know and see is marketed by their record labels with millions and millions and millions of dollars, and if you fall into that system, you're nothing more than whatever they want you to be. And that's just the truth behind it. We know this. And so here's a cool thing. I would love to invite you sometime to do some music with me and my producer. We have multiple different licensing deals right now with selling to TV shows. And there's money to be made there, dude. It's a really cool. I lost you.
I'm trying to.
There you are.
Sorry. I was trying to. What's the question? Sorry, repeat it one more time.
So I'd love to invite you to come out and do some music with me and my producer sometime in the Valley. And we've been able to do some cool things, and we've signed on with a few companies that are now shopping our stuff around on some major TV and films. So it's a way to make a little bit of money on this music side, and as well as get the world to hear your music.
Dude, I mean, are you kidding? I would love that. Are you kidding? You sound like a fucking angel in your song that you sent me the other day. I'm like, what the hell? Like, damn, how did you get it to sound so good? Like the reverb and the, I don't know if you have any like tuning on your voice, but holy shit, it sounds so clean and beautiful.
I learned it from the military, singing cadences.
Oh, really? Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, your tone and you have a gravel to your voice that I wish that I naturally had. It's so funny. Like I grew up watching other kind of folk singers, and in college I had this friend, James Bias. Shout out to James Bias. He was a huge inspiration to me. I talked to him one time, and I was like, well, how do you sound like that? Like how do you get your voice to sound so, kind of, how do you get that pain to come out in your voice? It's a lot like acting in a way, but he's like, well, listen to some of your favorite people. Like he's like, I love Bob Dylan. He's like, listen to some of your favorite people, and then blend the styles together.
Yeah.
And so we can kind of, fold how we want to sound into what we want to, let out or whatever. And I think ultimately it's about, acting, and I think music, I think it's all about feel, so basically you and I are professional feelers.
Yes.
and that does not surprise me when you say that you cry at the watching America's Got Talent or whatever. It does not surprise me. I feel like that is not weak to me. That is strength, to be able, and a lot of people don't get that. Like I grew up in a very machismo house. Like my dad was like, hey, what are you crying for? Like, hey, stop crying. What the hell are you doing? Be a man, It was like that. And that was what I learned was the epitome of strength. And my wife teaches me shit now that I'm like, oh fuck, okay, so that I learned that wrong. I've been doing this shit wrong this entire time, and she brings some shit up to me sometimes, and she's like, no, that's that is incorrect the way you learned that. And the beautiful thing is that we can unlearn that shit.
Yeah.
We can change whatever we want to change at any given moment, and we just got to make that choice. It takes about 10 to 12 seconds to decide to wash that dish and put it in on the side and not fucking leave it in the sink, so take the 10 to 12 seconds and say, well, let me not be a fucking idiot right now, and let me just get it done now rather than leaving it there with all the fucking food on the plate. Like I think it's the little things in our life that we can change immediately, and then everything else will kind of bleed into it. Like a pet peeve of mine. Can you hear me okay? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I got you. We're good.
Pet peeve of mine, and there's even an Instagram now that has this shit. It's called cart narcs. Pet peeve of mine.
I was just going to say that, dog.
fuck me, dude. I hate it when people don't take their damn cart back. It's like, is it really that challenging to not take your cart back? Are you really? I mean, okay, the people that I understand are maybe handicapped people. Okay, when you actually use the cart to keep yourself up, I get that, and if you want to leave it, I get that. That's why they have workers or whatever for the handicapped folks who have trouble. I get that, but for the people who have full functioning legs and arms, and you're thriving, take the shit back. So I think it starts with putting little things into your life. Hi, Mom. My cat she's like, what are you doing? She's like, why are you in here? I think that's where it starts. We got to kind of implement little things in our lives in order to get to where we want it. I think it correlates with everything.
Everything, bro. Everything.
Start putting the little pieces together. You'll start to see some return on investment, right?
Love it. Bro, this has been great, man. This hour has gone by so fast, real quick. What I would love for you to do is plug all your stuff. We're going to have to circle back on this again sometime, but please plug where they can find you. They can listen to your music. They can check out some of your shows. I know you were on Criminal Minds in 2005, Scandal right in 2012, and then Animal Kingdom in 2016. So, you've been doing work for years. And anything you want to plug, please, this is your time.
Oh, thank you so much, man. And to the people that are listening that want to be in the entertainment industry, let me just tell you right now, it is possible, and you just have to want it bad enough. There is somebody out there who is super talented, super experienced, trained actor or musician or artist, poet, whatever. There are those people, okay? And then there are the people that don't have that training and that work their ass off and do the work on their own, and then you start to see those people surpass the naturally gifted and talented people. So I guess my recommendation would be to work your ass off to get to that point and do the things on your own. I think one thing that I always like to say is don't be careless, just care a little less about it too. I think if you are putting so much weight on having it done quickly and getting it done right now and blah, 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 don't be a little easy on yourself and know that it will take time to, get to where you want to go. You can follow me on Instagram. I have an Instagram, Phillip A. Garcia, PhillipA. Garcia. I don't know. I'm not a big plugger, I guess, but yeah, man, keep an eye out for me. I got some things happening. I got, I don't know, whatever. I think that the best part of this career for me is to be able to share with people like you, dude. And it means a lot, truly, especially your comment. You're sitting across the table from me on the Mayans. That truly means a lot, from one artist to another. So thanks again, man, for having me, and keep doing what you're doing. You're making us all proud, man. And your community is a really proud and strong community. So continue to do that. I think that is so cool. What you're doing with your veteran project. It's truly inspirational to me. I would love to start a foundation myself at some point. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep up with you, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we get to work together soon, huh?
Shit, maybe they bring me back. Maybe they bring me back from the dead on mine.
We'll do the zombie version.
Yes, I'm down. But cheers to you, brother. And your family is so beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much, brother.
Your family is goals. Your family is goals.
You,
I want a family like yours for sure.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man. Well, when you get back to town, let's get some coffee or something. Let's just kick it.
Yes, sir. I'm down.
All right, brother. Well, you take care, man. Thank you for your time. And I'll make sure I put some links in there for you so people can find you.
Oh, thank you, brother. Later, everybody.
Right,
thank you.
Later.
I took the blow.